Welcome back to Log It. We're here to talk about a newer movie called Presence. It's directed by Steven Soderbergh. Letterboxd has got a 3.0, which is pretty high for Letterboxd. Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score is 88% and the audience score is 52%.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty like bare movie in the sense that there's not a lot of spectacle. It's like you said, it has a very cool premise. It takes place in a house. So, and it's kind of like the storytelling is almost vignette like. Yeah, I could see people walking away from this movie kind of hearing what it potentially is about and then walking away feeling a little underwhelmed. But I don't know how you felt. I enjoyed this movie for the most part. I thought this was really cool. I love Steven Soderbergh. He's probably like, he's one of my guys. I love him. I think he's great. I'm really loving, or I did love his kind of like direct to streaming grip of movies, where he did like all the movies for Netflix. He did like Kimmy for Max, which was very cool. He's very creative in the way he shoots. There was a Netflix movie called High Flying Bird, which he just shot on an iPhone, and I think that was during. I want to say that was before lockdown, before COVID. But that was a very cool movie. So he's just creative. I mean, he has very small budgets. He's a terrific writer too. Like his scripts are fantastic. But I think what this movie needed the most was like good acting and a good script for it to like propel the story forward. Because I think like the gimmick can only take you so far, and I think this movie had that working in its favor for sure.
So yeah, no, Steven Soderbergh rules, and he's done so many like random things that are really neat.
I mean, he did Contagion, like,
Contagion, Side Effects,
mm-hmm.
but then also the Oceans trilogy, which the Oceans trilogy is
I
amazing.
mean, those are like our best movies, I think, like
Yeah, as
easily.
America.
Yeah,
They're really, really fun movies. And like The Informant's an interesting movie. So yeah, he's a cool Logan Lucky was
he just
cool.
works a lot. His output is crazy. He has another movie coming out
Yeah.
this year, this spring, which I'm pumped
And
for. Yeah,
he never really has like a genre or like a
right.
shtick or anything. It just feels like he kind of is all over the place. Oh, and the Nick, the TV show, which
Mm-hmm,
I heard
mm-hmm.
is really good. I never saw it.
Yeah,
But yeah, some cool stuff about the making of this movie. This movie felt very low budget. It almost felt like it was shot on a GoPro, which I
yeah.
don't say is a slight.
It's a $2 million budget. It's very, very small.
$2 million, and Steven Soderbergh apparently financed it himself.
Hmm.
And they shot this in 11 days.
That's insane.
Absolutely crazy.
Like getting all the marking down and all like that stuff. I feel like there's so many like things that could go wrong. So just that just feels like that feels like the most efficient shoot imaginable. Like just
It
11
would
days of
have to
go.
be.
Yeah. He was also the camera operator. Like he's the titular ghost, right?
Who is?
Soderbergh. Wasn't he the one behind the camera too during the entire movie?
Oh yes, yeah. He did the cinematography and the
Yeah.
editing as well. So yeah, he would have been the actual camera
So
guy.
cool.
I'm sure tons of talented people helped, but it is crazy how much of the movie he did himself, and it's really, really good.
You're looking in a room, you're moving around, it's eye level, it seems to be a person, and cut to black, time shift, a new image, somebody's coming to show the house to a family. That's what I gave. David kept those like handful of pages.
To dive deeper into that, the whole movie takes place from the perspective of a ghost. It's
Mhm.
kind of like a GoPro floating around the house. Like you said, it happens in vignettes. The scene will end and there'll just be like maybe 2 seconds
Yeah,
of black.
it's like still sequential storytelling. So you're seeing like the through narrative of the whole story, but like yeah, exactly. Like it's almost like watching a play where like
Yeah,
it'll be a scene and then the curtain comes down and it'll reopen to another
they
thing.
change the set,
Right.
and then all of a sudden everyone same actors, a
Hmm.
small group of actors, totally like a play. It also reminded me of Paranormal Activity in that way, because Paranormal
Yeah.
Activity kind of has that rhythm. Like, and in general, it felt like a found footage film, which was really interesting because, in a sense, it
Right.
is like a POV movie, like a found footage movie is, but a huge twist on the found footage
And I'm wondering if
genre.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I'm wondering if that's why like some of the audiences were a little underwhelmed because they assumed it was going to be more of kind of a
Like a
jump
shock
scare a
movie.
thon, and it's more
Yeah.
of a family drama from the perspective
Yeah,
of a
and
ghost.
much more of like a sentimental thing.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
was reading that apparently people walked out of it at Sundance, and I
that's
was like,
weird.
"Why?
Hmm.
What in it was
There's a
that
couple of
alarming to you?"
slimy scenes that we can get into, but I mean, other
For
than
sure, some like human disgustingness, but
yeah,
like
but that's not
maybe
until
that
like the
was it.
end. But
There's not a lot of ghost scares though. Like this is a movie that does have kind of like the dressings of a horror movie, but never feels very much like a horror movie to me. Like it was always much more interesting, and you get a
mhm.
sense pretty early on that the presence isn't malevolent.
And it's kind of like attached to one character too, for
Yeah,
the most part.
specifically the daughter. There's
Yeah,
the mom, dad, daughter, son. The mom's played by Lucy Liu. The
which
dad's
is great.
played
By Chris
by another
Sullivan,
dude, Chris
the
Sullivan, who was
best.
also great. For most of the movie, he's like the only like positive,
He's
like kind character.
he's like the emotional heartbeat of this movie.
Yes, it's it would be such a drag if he wasn't in it.
Oh, yeah, you needed a human character in this.
Because Lucy Liu's kind of terrible.
I want to talk about her character for sure because I have some questions about her.
So I guess before we move on from the
Mhm.
kind of ghost POV, did you like that specifically? Like I know you were interested.
I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really well done, and a couple times you kind of forget, honestly, that you're like that's the perspective. Like you're watching it through
Yeah,
the perspective. Like you kind of just feel like you're watching it, and I don't know. It's kind of cool. Like it almost felt like it was just like a candid camera, like story. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like there's a few moments where I was watching this, forgetting that that was the point of the way it was shot and filmed. Because it's mostly just like it almost feels like what do you call it? Like almost like a fisheye lens. There's no like
yeah.
particular like quote unquote like movie shots, like nothing over the shoulder or anything. But to answer your question, no, I thought it was cool. Basically, yeah,
No, yeah, it's a really fun. It's like it felt like a very immersive movie.
yeah.
Like I found myself, I knew the ghost was going to be its own thing in the movie, but I felt myself saying like, "Oh, that character can see us." Whenever somebody looked at the ghost, because they're
Well,
looking right at the camera, obviously. So it's like it's an interesting fourth wall
yes,
break
absolutely.
twist, kind of. It's a whole
Absolutely.
new fourth wall break.
Absolutely. It's crazy too because there's actors are not supposed to look at the camera in like a regular
Yes,
movie. But with this, there's so many characters that look right in the camera and you do feel like you said that fourth wall break. You're just like this is so like
I
so
shouldn't be here.
abnormal. Yeah, exactly. Like this doesn't feel it
Ultimate
feels like I'm
voyeurism.
watching this happen. Like it feels like I'm the
Yeah,
ghost and I'm getting caught.
yeah,
And the way they interact too with the camera is so cool. I think like the way that like a couple of characters kind of, you know, you can tell that there is a presence around them and how
yeah.
they kind of deal with that emotion like on their face is really cool. Essentially the story is this family of 4 move into this new house. And like the very first shots of the movie you see like again what is the ghost in the room and seeing the family basically looking at the house that they're potentially going to move into.
And the first time we see it, it's just empty,
It's an
which
empty
I
house.
really liked. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was very cool. As this movie goes on, you find out that the daughter just went through a very traumatic experience, losing a friend. The mom, played by Lucy Liu, is like this high-powered, I don't even like businesswoman who's like going through something that seems illegal. Like she's dealing with something that could be, I don't know, fraudulent or something. The son is like this star athlete who's also kind of a piece of shit too. And then, like you said, the dad, Chris Sullivan, who's just like, again, he's like just trying to hold this family together that's just completely fracturing. So they're all trying to like survive in this roof. And that's why I said like the movie's more like a family drama more than, like a genre film, like a ghost film or something like that. But basically you're just watching this family kind of tear apart and kind of get put back together and then tear apart again, and it all takes place in this one house. It's wild. It's cool. What'd you think about the ghost stuff? Like the ghost interacting like with objects. Did you like that?
I did. There were
Yeah.
certain times that it felt a little bit cheesy to me. There were certain times it felt like a video game POV.
Yeah, a
Because like
little
in
bit.
video games,
Yes.
sometimes you don't have arms, but you'll
Yes.
still interact with it. Felt like that a little bit. So there's a little bit of me being like, oh, it feels like I'm in like Stanley Parable or something. It
Yeah,
was a little weird.
yeah, when the daughter Chloe goes like to, I think she goes in the bathroom to take a shower, and then you see the ghost picking up its like her like school things and like putting them on her desk or something. That was like a little, like you said, I felt like I was playing Skyrim or something like that. It felt a little weird, but
Yeah. But didn't take me out. It made
no, no,
sense to
no.
me. You know what I mean? Like I could accept it in
And then
the narrative of the movie.
and it kind of sets up for like the ending of the movie too. Like you see interacting with things around it, so the setup for the end kind of, I guess, makes more sense. I don't know why else they would have done that. Just, I mean, you know, besides the fact that that happens in like ghost situations
Yeah.
where things get moved. I don't know.
Well, and I think it was a hint to the audience that the ghost isn't scary. Because I think
Mhm.
early on he wanted to make it clear this wasn't meant to be like a scary story.
Right.
'Cause I would say the first half there's definitely like, oh, it's a ghost.
Mhm.
Like they're making things wobble and the lights are flickering.
Right.
But by the second half of the movie, there's no, for me, there was like no question that this is like a good ghost with like some kind of benevolent intention.
Right. I love a good ghost.
Yeah, dude, it's like this is Casper for 2025.
Exactly. Thank you.
Pretty close, actually.
Yeah.
Casper's a really good movie. It's a really good soundtrack.
I need to watch that one again. I've been hearing a couple people talk about it. That was like my bag back in the day, back in 90
So
whenever
good,
that came
dude.
out.
It
But
holds up fairly well, especially for a kids movie.
oh, yeah, for
Um,
sure.
the soundtrack's awesome, and Christina Ricci's
Who's the
awesome.
dad again? Everyone loves the dad.
Fucking Bill Pullman, man.
There you
They're the
go. Thank
coolest.
you.
Love Bill Pullman so
Yeah.
much. The Sinner is really good as show he's in. If you can't get enough Bill Pullman, like me.
Okay.
Uh,
Noted.
noted. Okay. I guess I could get into my complaints first. Do you want to do complaints first? I just have.
Because I have a couple of complaints too, but
Yeah,
so
let's get into
okay.
criticisms because I'll do the big one for me.
Yeah.
I felt like the dialogue was
So
a little
bad.
stunted
Yeah.
sometimes,
Especially
and
with a couple characters, for sure.
I felt like it was like fake minimal, where the minimalness actually was just hiding lack of
Yeah.
development.
It if at times it felt like you were watching like a Netflix teen series. You're like, this is how kids talk now? Like, what? It was just kind of like you said, it was like a little stilted, and the worst, like the egregious actor is the guy that plays Ryan. I thought he was awful. I thought he was so bad. He's the blondie. So, Tyler's friend. So
Chinny.
Tyler, when they wait, what?
I just guessed the wrong name.
Yeah, so Tyler's friend Ryan, who like he invites over to his house, and like right away you're like, this guy is not doing the business for me. He was like a little too cool, a little too surfer guy. Like I don't know, man. There's something off with him. I did not enjoy.
Huge 90s Leonardo DiCaprio vibes. Like
Yeah, without the
crazy
talent. Yeah,
90s heartthrob. Yeah,
yeah.
fair. But the hair parted, the straight, like, soft hair.
Hmm.
But yeah, he's a little sketchy, but then they kind of lead you to believe that maybe the brother Tyler is like the real bad
Well,
one.
Tyler's a shithead. Tyler the brother's an asshole. He's like he's a fucking creep. Like he's like,
Yeah,
and also something I want to touch on too was the relationships between the parents and the children. So you have Lucy Liu's character, the mother who like fawns over the son, absolutely loves him, adores him. There's a scene where she's like talking to him at the dinner table while drinking, telling him
yeah.
like how much she
So
adores
uncomfortable.
him. Like, I do everything for you. Like anything I've done that comes up, just know that was for you. And you're like, this feels like a little
I thought we were
creepy.
gonna do a turn into like kind of
Me too. I was a little nervous. I was,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. I was glad. Yeah.
I
Anyway,
was
very
happy that
very
it didn't
weird
do any.
vibes.
Yeah, it's super creepy. And then vice versa, you have Chris and the daughter Chloe, and their relationship is like, very like he's the only one that believes, because she's the one that's feeling this presence. She's the one that like sees things, and he's the only
Yeah,
one that like believes her, or like will go out of his way to help her like be more comfortable with this situation. So I loved their relationship, but anyway, Tyler is a douchebag, the son,
yeah,
and he tells the story where he
yeah.
basically tricked a girl into like sending them like nudie photos, and they posted them online, and you're just like, this guy's bad news, bad news. So like you said, yeah, you think, I mean, he is a bad guy.
but not a bad guy,
Right.
because
Sure.
spoilers happening now.
Yeah.
The big twist. So the hot surfer Leo boyfriend turns out to be a serial killer who's
So you're
been
like
killing these
rapist. Yeah.
girls. Yeah, because Chloe, the girl who can sense the spirit, the presence, thinks it's her friend who died, and they give hints that this was an OD, or that's what they think.
That they like kind of the parents found these girls, or found the two girls that passed away, like just not breathing in their bed.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
were all using drugs and probably had drugs in their system or
Mhm.
something. So then turns out Ryan's a serial killer. He uses saran wrap. He drugs people and then he chokes them.
Yeah.
And uh, horrible scene. This scene I
Really,
was
really
yelling
tough.
TV. So the guy's just like torturing Chloe basically while she's unconscious, but technically is conscious. Like she can still hear
He
and
basically
see.
roofies her. Yeah.
Yes. So, and he's like putting the saran wrap, and then the ghost tries to disrupt what's happening.
Tries to
We
alert
try
the
to do it.
brother downstairs
Yeah, and it
too.
doesn't work.
Mhm.
Well, first he tries to knock them
Right.
up, and whatever, and knock them up. And so then he goes downstairs and he wakes up the brother. The brother comes charging upstairs immediately, can tell something's wrong, goes in the room, sees it, tackles Ryan, and they both go flying out the window. And almost immediately, the camera shows them
Yeah.
on the ground, like dead. And the camera stays floating above the dead bodies, which was interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because the very last scene of the movie,
Yeah.
they're moving out of the house, too many bad memories. The brothers passed away. Chloe
Yes.
survived. The mom is saying goodbye to the house and
Dude,
really
this
to
gave me the
Tyler.
jump scare. This
And
actually
she
like
looks in the
shocked me.
mirror,
I have the chills right now just thinking
dude.
about
And so
this.
she looks in the mirror, and
Because she was also
move over to where the camera is in the reflection, and there is
So
Tyler.
scary.
So the ghost the whole time
Was it
was the
Tyler?
son. Yes,
You think so? I guess that does make sense.
absolutely.
Okay.
Well, so I have
Because
some
I thought that
evidence.
too, but then I'm like, how?
This is perfect.
I guess I just don't know how ghosts work.
So this movie's ghosts work a specific way. They gave us some clues. One of the big scenes that's like a big key is when this the psychic comes to the house. It's a classic trope of the psychic coming because there's weird ghost stuff
Poltergeist
happening.
vibes for sure.
Yeah, and you can't tell if they're just some weird hack scammer or if it's real. You know, there's a little bit of Trelawney vibes.
At the end, when the husband's like, she can't work after this, right? So then he goes and pays her for the day's work. I was like, that's so funny.
So awkward,
A good dad
dude.
would do that.
Yeah. No, this is nice. And so anyway, she comes in, she can immediately see us. She's looking straight at the camera.
Yeah.
And so she's legit. And she is super freaked out. And again, this is a fairly normal trope in a horror film. So you're like, oh, she's scared because there's a ghost there. And that's scary. And so she continues doing her thing, but the whole time she's like eyeing us and she's really freaked out about it. And at one point, she kind of goes into like a hypnotic trance and is talking about things. And she mentions a couple things that are really important. One, that ghosts experience events out of time. So a ghost isn't going to follow the same rules of time that we do as humans. And then second, she mentions that old mirrors contain a lot of memories because they've seen so much.
Right.
And so that is also, okay, so the reason the lady was so freaked out wasn't because it was a ghost. It was because the ghost was of the kid who was in the room with her. Because in that scene, Tyler's in the room with her.
Right.
And so she sees the ghost and she's like, oh my God. And that's why she points out that ghosts experience time out of order. Because she's already trying to comprehend what this situation, right? So she can't tell the family their son's going to die. But at that point, she knows. And then her telling them about the mirror, I believe, is a setup for the mom at the end, where Tyler's already experienced this once, so he knows the mom is going to see him in the end because he's out of time, right? So he can see kind of the whole picture. And so that's why they mentioned the mirror, is because I think that is kind of what prompts the mom to look at the end so she can see him and say goodbye. Which is
Interesting.
another ghost trope or people dying trope of in real life where people always say somebody will visit them after they've died and they don't
Look,
know they died, you know?
look, did I just Google was Tyler the Ghost in Presence? Yes, I did. And you're spot on, Caleb. Everyone's saying it is. Okay, because what I just thought there was a ghost, like not attached to anyone. I thought I could have sworn someone said like something happened in that house before, and at one point the ghost detector, whatever her name was, comes by the house and
Yeah.
tells the dad about like a window, like there's a window that was shut, and he's like, okay,
Yes.
yeah, go away. So I thought by
Sorry.
going through that window, they essentially like released the ghost when they broke the window. Look, not as sophisticated as yours, and again, you are right.
I
But
like yours.
no,
No, the window was her trying to save
mine's
Tyler,
child.
I think.
I will say that
He was trying to tell the parents not to leave.
right.
And I don't think she had the whole picture. I think
Wait,
were
say
still
that again?
coming to her.
Who's
She was trying to tell the parents not to go out of town.
who was?
The sidekick. That's how I interpreted it.
Oh, interesting.
He was trying to say something bad's gonna happen with a window, like you can't leave.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Whatever, lady. I see, there's a lot of little details I wasn't sure about. Because also another thing the psychic says when she first enters the room is there are two. And so that makes us think there's another ghost, but she's talking about two Tylers.
Yes. Oh, I now this like deserves a rewatch. I kind of want to watch all the hints. And there's a beautiful scene too. There's a beautiful scene where Chris, the dad, is talking to Tyler after Tyler kind of goes off on Chloe because Chloe's like freaking out about this ghost. This is earlier in the movie. And he's telling her like, you're a fucking weirdo, blah, 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 blah. And then later, Chris, the dad, says like, look, like they have a kind of a conversation after the fact. And he said, there's an excellent man inside of you, Tyler. I would like to meet him soon. And now you think like, oh my God, he sacrificed all this stuff. It's very beautiful, very, 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 very sad. But okay. No, this deserves a rewatch. I have to rewatch
setting is up his redemption. His dad was right. He was the hero. And it's cool because okay, so the last cool thing with that twist, it being Tyler. So like I said, the very first scene of the movie, the ghosts, we move through the house and we end up in a closet in Chloe's room, what turns out to be Chloe's room. At the time, it's an empty house.
Right.
And looking out the closet. And throughout the movie, that's like kind of a motif that ends a lot of the segments or the
or like restarts the scene a little bit.
Yeah, he'll either the spirit will either start in the closet or end in the closet.
Right.
And I was like, man, that's so interesting. I can't figure out what that is. And then maybe somebody hung themselves in there. Maybe it's some kid who had some trauma where they would hide in there when they were scared. I'm kind of trying to figure this out the whole time. It's because he's waiting for the event to happen. He's waiting for the moment he has to save her because he has to make sure.
He does save her at that one point when Ryan initially tries to roofie her. He like shakes the glass off. Okay.
Yep. And so but he's waiting for that night because he knows. So basically, he's ensuring that the events will happen again the way that they need to happen. So he saves Chloe.
Wow.
So also by doing that, he's ensuring his own death. So in theory, when he goes and wakes himself up, I believe at that point he knew he was Tyler waking himself up to go die.
Interesting.
To make sure he saved the sister. Oh yeah. So him being in the closet is just to make sure he doesn't miss it.
Right.
Because he's worried he's not going to be able to save her again.
And this movie kind of sets up that you think it could be Nadia, who was a victim of Ryan's and also a really good friend. And I feel like this is way better storytelling, having it be Tyler, I think in the end. I think it's less on the nose. It works, and you already have that like schism. It's like, again, it gives you that redemptive quality too.
Like I instantly got teary-eyed. Once I realized everything, and then I started like thinking about all those things, and I was like, it was hard. I was like pretty emotional. I didn't cry because I would never cry.
I mean, you're a robot, but man, that actually, I didn't even think about it. That's amazing. That's actually very, very, very cool.
So I really loved it, and it was just like it was one of those ones again where I went in being like, oh, this is probably gonna be like fun, but it's like a gimmick. It's like a one-shot movie where there's probably gonna be a lot of compromise to get the one shot, but you're going in for the one shot. But this was like fantastic. This is one I'll watch again.
Yeah.
It could be a favorite. I could see it being one I revisit every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, I think Soderbergh is a lot of bang for not a lot of buck. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
he's not a gimmicky guy. I mean, he is gimmicky in the way he kind of like shoots or how he tells a story, but man, there's like so much substance in his movies.
it's like the line between innovation and gimmick is
Right,
very thin, and
right.
he does a very good job of like staying in this felt innovative to me, and maybe I'm like falling for tricks and but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun experience. I wish I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, this would have been a cool movie to experience on a bigger screen. Julia Fox is in this movie for like 3 seconds. She plays the real estate agent at the beginning, and I thought
Nice.
her scene as like the kind of like frazzled real estate agent was, I just thought she was fantastic. I love Julia Fox. I think she's so good in movies. And I just loved her being like getting ready, like, and then greeting them at the door, like putting herself together, and everyone's like, "Oh, did you just get here?" She's like, "No, I've been here for forever." I love those types of jokes.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. She's the first person you see running
Yeah.
in the house to get it ready for them. Um, awesome. Do you have any last thoughts on it as we wrap up?
I think people should watch this movie if you can. I think it's still in theaters. It says 2024. I thought it came out in
Or is it?
January. I thought it just came out, but maybe I'm wrong. Letterbox does this thing where they put the date of the movie release like attached to like an early festival release, which is annoying
Yeah,
to me. It should just be, yeah, it bothers me. But I think if you like this movie, I think you should check out his other smaller movies, like Kimmy, the one that we talked about. I think
yeah.
it's on Max. It was like a direct to Max movie, but it's a really cool movie. I really like that. And then also High Flying Bird, which is about an agent and like a rookie basketball player during an NBA lockout, and it's all shot on an iPhone. And Andre Holland is in this movie. He plays the agent, and he's so good in this movie. And it's a Netflix movie. So definitely recommend High Flying Bird. Is really really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um.
highly recommend this. I would.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think Steven Soderbergh rocks. Like, I just don't think he has so many movies, and I don't think that many are bad. I think they're all like mid to really good.
Solid.
Like, I just
Yeah.
watched The Limey recently, which is an early Soderbergh movie, and it rocks. It's about basically a vengeful dad coming after I think he's like a actor or something. It rocks. Caleb, Oscars are on Sunday. How you feeling?
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
I'm gonna
You're coming over?
yep, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be there. I'm
Okay.
gonna try to watch at least a couple more movies. I did better this year than last year. I
What are
have
you
at least a
missing?
handful.
I've given up. I'm just not going to watch anything, I don't think.
Only ones I'm interested in, but I will try to prioritize those
Can you tell me
to
which
have.
ones? I want to know. I do want to know.
So I'm gonna finish Wicked. I've watched the first half of Wicked.
Okay.
I
How
would
you
like to
feeling about
watch
that?
Anora.
I do want
Wicked,
to watch it. Hey, if you
fun.
if you somehow come across Anora on, something.
I already have it. I'll give
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
it.
I wanted to see Nickel Boys, which is actually an interesting conversation with
Oh,
Presence, because I think it's also filmed in a POV perspective too. I heard it's very
oh,
very good. I want to check out Nickel Boys.
interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Conclave, I'm curious about. I don't think I'll see it
Okay.
before Sunday, but I do want
Con-
to watch it at some point.
Conclave rocks. I loved Conclave. I think it's like people were. It's a very enjoyable movie. I will say that. I love that movie. I don't think it's going to win the Oscar. I actually want it to win the Oscar. I think it was my favorite movie of this year.
Last thing, best picture. What's your pick?
Um, so of the movies, I've seen A Complete Unknown, I've seen Conclave, I've seen Dune Part 2, and I've seen The Brutalist. So of the ones I've seen, I don't know. I think maybe Anora or The Brutalist. I'm not iffy on The Brutalist. I love the first. I think I've talked to you about this. The first half was probably one of my favorite things I've seen on a big screen. The second half was out of awful. I just like it was so bad. So we'll see. I hope it's Anora or Conclave. I still want to see Anora, but Conclave I had a blast. And also we have to crown Timothy Chalamet this year. It has to happen. So
He's nominated for
Best
Complete Unknown
Actor
and Dune 2 or just one?
just for Complete Unknown.
My pick is going to be Dune Part 2. I've not seen all of them. I've heard really good things about Anora.
Yeah.
But Dune Part 2 I thought was just like
it was one of the best movies of the year.
Awesome experience.
Yes.
As far as like filmmaking goes,
Yes.
It was just a tour de force for Villeneuve. So that's my pick. I hope it wins. But there's a few other ones that I think would be solid choices. Sure.
Let me be. I do want Dune 2 to win. That was my favorite movie of the year.
That's your pick.
But it's not going to win because that movie came out in March and everyone forgot about it.
They want Zendaya on the podium, man. This is a social media age.
And they want Chalamet. Could you imagine Chalamet getting Best Picture and Best Actor? What a dream. Yeah, I think people should see Presence.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Follow us on Instagram and on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify and Letterboxd, of course. We'll be back very soon to talk about more movies.
Maybe we should have an Oscars recap.
That'd be fun.
That might be fun. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see. I'll see you Sunday, Caleb.
If there's a Chalamet Tom Holland fight, there will be a recap.
I think if Chalamet wins the Oscar, we will do a recap.
Yeah, deal.